All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Can I Be Frank program here on Inside Lowell. It's good to be back. I've had a little hiatus. I took a little quiet spring break, but I'm happy to be back. Things are going swimmingly here down at Inside Lowell, and I'm happy to be back behind the microphone. I think we have what is a great program in store for you. A couple of great friends and some important stuff we're going to cover tonight, so I appreciate it. We are recording this on June 15th, Thursday. This will be released live probably tomorrow morning via our landlord, Mr. Panos. We'll release this and get to see it.
God willing.
So it'll be pre-recorded. So it's great. So like I said, summer is here. It's finally here. School is out for the summer officially. Well, in the city of Lowell, I think it's next week, but most of the kids are I think done tomorrow, 16th of June. And it's a wonderful time of year if you like to golf or beach or fish or boat or leapfrog, whatever you like to do. Enjoy your summer. It's going to be good. And hopefully I'll be back to pod on some future topics over the summer. I'm proud to report my middle child, Elizabeth McCabe, graduated high school this year. She is wisely heading off to the University of Rhode Island, so I'm rocking this gear for the evening in honor of her. We invaded the bookstore, and my house looks like a goddamn Smurf colony because all we have is this color blue.
Carolina blue, baby.
It's pretty amazing. Like, literally, that's all we have in the house. It's like Papa Smurf took a shit. But in any case, pardon my French. So what I'd like to do is I've invited one co-host this evening who is going to play the questioner to our questionee. And then I have a great guest who I will introduce in one moment here, but it should be a great show. Thank you to have you back. So I'm going to give an Apollo Creed kind of shout out to my co-host. I'm going to give you a quick shot of him just so you know. Yep, that's him. The one on the left, you can't really see him.
Can I be frank with you, baby? Can I be frank with you, baby?
Allow me to continue. He's known as Big Daddy. He's known as Big G Money, the Mound of Sound, the Ton of Fun, Chocolate Thunder.
Sure.
You ever been called that? My goodness, Mr. Garfield Edward Morrison III, aka Gary. So he and I will be as I coined us, the Big Ebony and the Scrawny Ivory. That's how we're gonna be.
That's it.
Tonight. And it's going to be some laughs, so buckle up because Gary has no filter. And I told him he didn't have a filter. I'm regretting every single second I said that to him. However, the guest of honor tonight is a friend. And as I wrote some notes today how to describe him, he's a Lowell City Council candidate for 2023, dedicated Lowellian, longtime Lowellian, former sports talk show host. He's a singer in a band. He's a musician. He is what I have called a transportation aficionado by his day job, and he's an overall great guy. So, welcome, Gary Morrison and John Descoteaux.
Hey, I'm already regretting this. I can tell you that right now. This is not going to be good.
This will be just fine.
This is like a Three Stooges skit, Frank.
Well, the Stooges never quite look like this makeup. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't get powdered, so if I'm glistening, it's under these hot lights.
Oh boy!
And I don't know if you can hear me. We get the cheap mics. So here we are, Inside Lowell. Can I be frank with you? Can I be frank? This will be the hottest podcast in the history of Inside Lowell. I'm telling you that right now.
Frank, you're regretting this already.
The G's gone up. I'm telling you, my man Frank McCabe has put something together for Lowell and Inside Lowell and podcasting in Lowell. Cannot be replicated or duplicated because the man is honest to a fault. If you've watched some of his other podcasts, you know he always brings the heat. So
Gary's like the 2022 version of Don King.
Let's get right to it.
Yeah, this really is.
Frank brings the heat. Frank,
it's like a Rocky movie.
It really is.
Yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Really good to have you. So typically in this platform, Inside Lowell, obviously by the name, it's basically a lot about things in Lowell that are happening, business and politics and anything you can imagine. Ted Panos, our fearless leader, leads this effort. He was kind enough to give me a platform where I get to speak.
Yeah,
I do not cover the political side. Typically, I like to have a little more fun with my program when I get to do it, which isn't often enough, as I should. It's my fault. However, tonight I wanted to invite my friend John on, who is a candidate this year in the 2023 election for Lowell City Council. John is a longtime Lowell Public Schools employee. He brings so much to the table. He had an amazing fundraiser this past Monday at Mount Pleasant Golf Club. Literally hundreds of guests, hundreds of supporters. It was really powerful. I was happy to be there. So the first part of tonight, I would like to just give John a little bit of his time to let him tell a little bit about himself, tell him about what he wants for Lowell. I mean, I'll be very honest. I don't know why anyone would run for public office because it's just a scrutiny. But John wants to throw himself out there because he does care about this city, and he grinds. And his office is about 500 yards from where we sit tonight. And he's very much committed to the mission and making Lowell better, and he deserves this stage. I know he'll be on again on this, the Inside Lowell platform, talking about his issues and what he wants to see, as will the other candidates. However, I want to be in full disclosure to those of you watching. I'm here because I'm a fan of John. I am a non-voter in this city. There's no bias here. There will be no other guests on my program running for city council. It's just not my thing. John is on here as a friend, and I wanted to give him just a little bit of time, of course, to talk about why he deserves this, as he richly does. So without further ado, I just want to open this up. I'm going to ask a couple questions of John. There's no doubt Gary will talk throughout. So sorry. But, you can only control so much. So, Mr. Candidate Descoteaux, how are you tonight?
Frank, you're doing great. It's good. It really is good to be here with you. And you know what? Actually, people may not know, but me and Gary probably go back 35 years.
At least.
We worked at Belmont Springs Water Company together, pumping water back then. And
you guys are basically related.
Through my niece is married to Gary.
Your niece is married.
Didn't I tell you not to bring that up?
I'm very sorry, Ken.
I love you, baby.
He loves you, baby.
He's like my Uncle John.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You're 5 years older than me.
John knew me when I was young and virile.
For sure.
Virile.
Yeah.
New word.
No, I appreciate the opportunity, Frank.
Of course.
People look at me and say, why?
Sure.
And listen, I've been involved in politics in Lowell for over 30 years.
Yep.
I've helped out Danny Tenzer and his efforts. I was a campaign manager for Jimmy Leary. Unfortunately, we came on to Louisiana and that, but I've always enjoyed politics, and I've always wanted to run, but never had the real opportunity because I believe city council is something more than a part-time job. I really do. If you want to give,
it really is.
It really is. And I'm saying, how could I even think about doing this if I can't give it a full effort? So knowing that I'm going to retire next April from the school department, that I said, you know what, this might be the timing. I think the timing might be right, and can give it a good effort. I've been involved with the Lowell License Commission now.
Yeah, right.
I've been the chairman
That's right.
for 10 years.
Yeah.
And also been involved with Mickey Ward Charities now for 16 years.
Absolutely.
And that to me is I really enjoy charitable causes like that and what we do for Lowellians. And you know what, we're not a big money making machine. We're the ones that give a $50 gift card to Market Basket. And you know what,
Sure.
if you ever done that, Frank, and it's unbelievable feeling because people will start crying in front of you, and but that's the type of charity. We're very blue collar, just like Mickey grew up blue collar, and this is what he likes to do. We give a lot to kids, and that was one of Mickey's things, that we give a lot to kids. So I've always been involved, and I think this might be the time to jump in and give it my best shot. So I wanted to speak to a lot of people beforehand and what their thoughts were, and I think you have to do your homework before you jump into something like this. And talk to people who have been in that seat.
Yeah.
What can I expect? Is this the right thing? Is this the wrong thing? Should I do this? And you know what? Everybody's got a different opinion, different suggestions, and I will tell you, a good friend of mine, and I've actually been a family friend of mine for as long as I was a little kid, was Paul Dubuque. And he goes,
one of the best.
He is the best. And he goes, listen, Johnny, he goes, listen to people, listen what they have to say. You can use some of their things, you may not. But he goes, do one thing for me. He goes, always follow your heart. And if things go wrong, you followed your heart anyway. And I still stand by that since I've announced. And Paul's, I talk to him once a week, and how are things going? What are you doing? He's making sure I'm doing my work, and a lot of people that are behind me as well. And so far I'm enjoying it. Monday was a great night. Monday was
Great
fun.
night.
Monday was fun.
Very fun. It was very fun.
It was really
happy
fun
I could
time.
get there. Yeah.
And a lot of people stayed. A lot of people stayed. So just had a good time. And Jimmy Leary came by.
Sure.
He introduced me, and Jimmy's a dear friend of mine. Yeah. And we miss him here in Lowell. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I really do. He was a great politician.
And you're supported by some really. You mentioned Paul Dubuque. You mentioned Jimmy Leary. You mentioned Mickey Ward. Another one I saw the other day, I didn't even realize you guys are such dear friends. One of the great philanthropists in Lowell is Ray Keefe.
Ray.
Right? One of the best.
You know what? If you want to talk about a guy that gives, and you know what? You know what's great about Ray? He doesn't want his name brought up.
No, he certainly doesn't.
At all. Now, Frank, you were at Eddie McMahon's at Seabrook.
Yeah, I was.
And I've never seen. I mean, if you wanted to break into a house in Lowell, that was the day to do it.
That was the day. That was the day. Correct.
Because everybody from Lowell was there.
Yeah.
And he promoted it. The McMahon family. God bless them. They're going through a lot of hard times right now, but he's a tough young kid, and hopefully he comes through. And
of course.
But the outpouring of the Lowell residents, and that's that's what Lowell is. It really is. It's the fabric of the neighborhoods that we grew up with, Frank. You remember? I mean, you grew up with all these kids. So did I. And you know what? You look at the time frame.
Sure.
People don't leave Lowell.
No, and even when you leave, you're still there.
You're still there.
Like we have a lot of friends that live, me included. I don't live in the city limits, but I still spend the lion's share of my time around my Lowell people.
Exactly. Yeah.
As we all do. And Ray doesn't live in Lowell anymore, but gives all his time and effort, and it's actually amazing. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to get in that tangent but it's been great. Ray was on the show, my first show I ever did here at Inside Lowell. Ray was my guest to talk about the Eddie McMahon, the polar plunge. Yep. Which I reluctantly dove in that ocean, but you know what? It made it all worth it.
It wasn't a pretty sight.
It was not pretty.
No, it wasn't.
Plus, you don't want to see without a shirt on. It's not good. Not good.
That was a great cause, and
people show
for the people that know how much money was raised. It was an incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
And I tell you, knowing the McMahons as well as we all do, they give back to the community as well.
Course,
So we
pay it forward, right?
We send our thoughts and our prayers to them.
Yep, for certain. So I didn't even realize, John, you will retire this April.
Yeah,
it's coming April, which is a far.
April 25th. I will be 62
Not that
years.
you're counting.
62 years old.
Hey.
62. So it seems like the magic year, and it's time. It's a difficult job, especially now. Transportation, and Gary and I have been in transportation for years.
It's the family business.
I've never seen it as bad as it is now. It's school bus drivers. We used to be able to get the retired guy who's looking for some part-time money, or our mom who just has a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old they could bring on the bus. We've lost that. It's not there anymore. So I don't foresee school bus industry coming back for another 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, I won't be here, but I would like to see, and I think you are seeing it. Worcester just implemented. They brought it in house.
Is it Worcester and Boston, if I'm correct?
That's correct.
They run it themselves, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
And Boston is actually the first ones to purchase electric buses.
Whoa.
Which
those bike lanes are going swimmingly. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Worcester's doing it, and you know what? They're paying a full-time wage, good wage, full-time hours, full-time, and the benefits.
Union drivers.
But then you know what though? But by doing such, you get that dedication. I mean, I know a little bit about this business, as you know, John.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a grind. These people are hard workers. It's people don't realize what these bus drivers do. 4:30, 5 a.m. They're up and moving.
course.
They're starting their buses in the middle of the snowstorms, and it's I know how tough your job is, and especially working in an urban environment as you do, and kids kids with less than supportive maybe homes.
Well,
that's just
let's not
easy.
forget. Let's not forget what they've been through, Frank. Too. I mean, the pandemic is.
No.
When you talk about the kids that have been affected, it's quite a few.
I have 3,
and
in high school that were coming up, and I'm telling you, I know it affected them.
Yeah,
it just did. At home and people, it was a wild time, but
so slowly we'll crawl out of it. But until then, I mean, I'll give the reins to a younger transportation director.
Well,
hopefully,
that's exciting, though, John. I think it's a great time for you. Gary,
Right.
awful quiet for a moment. Would you like to ask John?
I'm listening to John speak.
Okay.
First
I'd like your insights as well, sir.
I know John like nobody knows John. I've known him for an awful long time. In his profession, his prior profession, when he actually had to work, we actually had to use his muscles. When he had to use his brawn.
nobody knew I was 6 feet 200 pounds back then.
And just whittled him down. He worked so hard. I knew John before he even had kids. Like
That's right. Yeah.
When we listen. Let me tell you something. We burnt the candle at both ends. We used to go out. We used to hang, bang, party, go to Sox games, go hang, do this, that, the other thing, and then be right at the job at 5 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know about Lowell. I've been in Lowell for 20 years. I grew up in Arlington.
An aristocrat. Excuse me.
Born and raised. People are always shocked by that. Born and raised, originally from Arlington.
I can't imagine.
So a long winding road brought me to Belmont Springs, and the group of guys that I met there, and one of the guys I glommed onto was of course John, because he kept it real. Yeah. He was a cool dude, and even when he started to slow down, and it was like yo, what the hell's going on, man? This guy was the guy, man. What happened? It's like, well, he got old. I mean, it happens.
I got a funny story, Frank. It's on subject,
Okay,
actually.
please cut off, Gary. Thank you.
When you become a route salesman, we used to call just guys delivering. Yeah, so you're delivering water, right?
Yeah.
And when Gary first came on, you become a spare driver. So somebody calls in sick in the morning. You're going to Roxbury today. You're going to Newburyport the next day.
Yeah.
So I'm out one day, right? And they go, hey, Gary, you're going to Marlboro today, right?
He thought he was going to smoke cigarettes. Where's Marlboro?
He's doing my route, right? And he's back like 3 hours before I even get back, right? They want to know. So I talked to my customers the next day. I go, how did did you get your delivery? He goes, yeah, we did. He came in with 3 bottles at once. I'm going, what? and here I am with 1 bottle. I'm holding it on, and then I'm putting it on my other shoulder. And
I'll just check the notes.
Put one on his shoulder, put one underneath, and then held another one, and then he still kicked the door open. And he's bringing them up. I go, oh my God!
Yeah.
So that
bang boom.
Well,
it helped. It helped.
Those of you viewing can't quite tell. I think I believe what John is saying about Gary.
He's a strong kid.
I was a lot stronger then. I mean, it's
Strong
like
kid.
I carried 5-gallon bottles up a 100-foot driveway on a
remember.
bet for $100.
Yeah,
Because
you did fight,
someone said I
right?
couldn't do it. I just put one between my legs, between my ample thighs.
I'm not sure you can carry one.
I mean, you can carry one, but I'll tell you, this is
A
funny.
very delicate hand.
I started that job, man, in '96. So that was a long, long time ago. And now today I'm 55 years old. I was at a customer's account the other day, and this little old woman, she was probably 60, went to pick up a water bottle. I said, hey, let me get that for you. I used to do this a long time ago. I grabbed this thing by the neck, threw it up, and I almost went right over on my back. I swear to God, I kept going. I was like, oh, hey, things are heavy. I knew that. Then that's what happened to John. So like I was saying before, it's like, John stopped delivering, and then John left and went to into transportation, into school bus transportation.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was the great move for him. He's always been had the administrative brio, the executive brio, knows what to say and what to do, customer service, born and raised with customer service, always done that. Intelligent, of course, raising kids. So, that what comes in with that. So you're used to trials and tribulations. The guy is the guy for the next spot, for the next job that he's going for. I'm telling you right now. Well, I have a vote in Lowell.
I want to just chime in here about John and my friendship with him, which has been probably 10 years now, in that I see how hard he works. I was a little bit involved in his world for a few years there, and it is a. I don't want to say thankless, but somewhat it is.
Oh, you could say it is.
It's these are early mornings. There are hundreds and hundreds of parents. These are Lowell City kids. They're waiting for their bus, and it might be late. And that's John's office that gets these calls from 4 a.m. to
My analogy,
11.
Gary, is transportation directors are like home plate umpires. They're fine until they make that bad call. You know what I mean? And then everybody goes, "What's Descoteaux doing? What's the problem?"
It's a story.
But like these days, like you'll get calls, 5 people calling sick in the morning. How do you put routes together?
How do you do it?
So you go, ba 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 ba. But just from doing it so many years, you just kind of know.
You just know it. No, and I got to witness that. So I think understanding the city, understanding the school environment, which by the way is a very key component to city council. I mean, the school component of especially an urban city like Lowell, it's a big part of the job. There's you have to factor that in. These high school decisions, I may or may not ask you all about that in a little while, but it's a big part. And then John's he's aced it. So I want to maybe just continue our dialogue, but I guess what I would like to give John the last word on, not the last word, we're not done. However, why do you want this job and why do you deserve this job?
I want the job because I want to continue my community service. Anybody that knows me is, if you gave me a hammer, I probably wouldn't know which end to use, Frank.
Well, that makes two of us in the room.
You know me, and I've done my lead singer in a rock and roll band. The spandex aren't fitting anymore.
Yes, sir.
So what do I do? Right,
right.
I mean, still had the license commission, and that took some time, but I really wanted to stay involved. You know what? It's so cliche to say I love the city, but you know what? I want to see the city rebound back. I really do. I mean, obviously, every city in town has gone through the pandemic and is still recovering. And you know what? I'm not patronizing him, but I think we have the right guy in place with Tom Golden. I really think that this guy is going to show us what he's made of. I mean, I always like the saying, well, he's a nice guy. Tommy Golden's a nice guy. You know what? Nice guys, you know what? When they do something wrong, he's not a nice guy anymore. But I look at a guy like Tom Golden and I said, he served over 20 years as a state representative. So, you know what?
Mostly unopposed because no one thought they could do a better job, by the way.
You just answered the question. I mean, that's exactly it.
At 28 years old.
You know what I mean? So, You know what? Was he the right guy for the job at the right time? This is tough times. And I think we got the right guy. I really think so. And it's not going to be easy for him. I mean, he's already had growing pains. A lot of people say he could have done this better. But you know what? He knows how to manage. He's a leader, and I'm behind him. Now, am I going to be a rubber stamp for him? Tommy knows me. We've known each other for a long time too. I'm not going to be his rubber stamp, and I'll respect his decisions, but I will question him on certain things in a professional manner.
So, what Lowell operates as, similar to the city of Cambridge, is a Plan E form of
Plan
government,
E,
right? Where it's a strong city manager, the mayor, and with no disrespect,
ceremonial,
is somewhat ceremonial, and then the council reports up to the manager. So I guess the big question is, am I better looking than city manager Golden?
Gary, can I let you answer that? Or?
What? I was teeing you up for something easy. By the way, the answer is yes. Actually, Tom, dear friend of mine, we always joke with brothers because we kind of look alike, we kind of act alike.
Little bit.
Yeah. I'm teasing, of course, but
yeah,
you're right. He is the right guy, and I'm thrilled he's in the city.
You know what? Is he going to have bumps in the road? Listen, nobody's perfect. Is he going to make wrong decisions? Absolutely. Yeah. You know what? But you know what? That is another reason is that, when you become a city councilor, you hold the city administration accountable for what they're doing. So I think that's going to be my job, is to make sure everything's being done. Constituent services, are they being, your trash being picked? You're doing this, you're doing that. Listen, we've got some issues out there that we may say is local, but I mean, homelessness, housing, housing, mental illness. You can take those three and group them all together, actually. And I don't think it's a local issue.
No.
It's a regional. It's a,
it's a for lack of a better term, it's an ugly issue to deal with.
It's not. Would you
know what I mean?
10 years ago, would you go to San Francisco? Absolutely. Would you go to San Francisco today?
I don't think so. I think I'll take a pass.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's universal in Orlando. You know what I mean?
No.
And you know what? And it's sad to see that we have some unfortunate instances where we have people that have downtrodden right now and having a difficult time. So how do we, as group leaders of the city or as a state, come together and try to help? I think this is a ominous issue. I mean, it's huge. And how do you get your arms around it? You know what? I don't have an answer right now. I'm not sure anybody does.
And at the local level, at the even below the state level, cities like Lowell and Lawrence and Brockton, on and on, that like have real issues. They don't have there's not a stop sign at Elm Street.
Right.
Real issues, right? I mean, to be honest, I believe more than maybe anything, in my estimation, is simply you need people that care, that literally care, that breathe in the community every day because they want it better. It's just not, we've seen this superintendent blowout issue. I won't go down that path tonight, but carpetbaggers, as a good friend of mine says.
Well, you want the best guy for the job.
Breeze out, and it's like, well, geez, are you committed to this or not? And that's something. I always use the old Tip O'Neill, right? All politics are local. And sometimes it is, and I feel like sometimes in cities like Lowell, it can be.
You bring up a subject. Obviously, I've worked at the school department for 18 years, and I've seen 4 or 5 superintendents now.
Correct.
And when I first started, Carla Brooks Bear was here. Mm-hmm. And Carla stayed, I think, 8 years here, which was the longest run other than Superintendent George Sapasaris. And the reason I think Carla stayed that long is that she formed a team that was probably the best team the school in Lowell have ever seen. You had Teddy Rorak, you had Ann Murphy, you had Gene Franco, you had Jay Lang. Yeah. Those 4 people.
All-star team.
That was an all-star team. And you know what? They did their jobs, and they did them all very well. Gene Franco ended up being a superintendent. You know what? Great job. Absolutely. Ann Murphy, awesome in student support and curriculum. Sure. Teddy Rorak was that guy who was the buffer between
minor
City
league
Hall.
Baseball coach. P.S.
Just a great guy. And I hadn't seen him in years, and he came by Monday night.
Still got the greatest lettuce ever.
He's unbelievable. So, but that's how you stay as a superintendent, Frank. I think is that you build that administrative team, and makes your job easier. But Carla worked 15 hours a day.
Sure.
She was a great worker, a curriculum girl, but you know what? She got it. And it seems like the trend in, not just Massachusetts, everywhere, is you get that person, let's get my top 3 years and then I'm out. And it's sad to say, but it seems like it is. And listen, Lowell, you could say Lowell is tough politically, but Drake Chem said it's just as difficult to be in politics.
To my earlier point, John, is I do admire him that wants to put the name on a ballot, whether it's school committee or city council. It's because it is thankless.
You know what? I said it at my speech the other night. I've sang in front of hundreds of people in clubs and everything, and I was never nervous. When I spoke Monday night, I was nervous because you got to make sure you're speaking to people, and you want to make sure you're saying things right, because in politics, you say something wrong, and that can get turned all over. Phrase it wrong. You know what I mean? So you got to be a little bit delicate in that situation.
You should have opened up with a ballot. You should have cracked
Came out with a guitar.
You just cracked it. You know, so listen, you don't cover the shows. This guy gets it on, man. He gets it in.
I've seen it.
Telling you,
Pretty damn good, man.
You know what I'm saying? What's the Garrison's over there?
Far better.
Oh my God.
Far better than the Can I Be Frank program.
Jesus.
I'm telling you.
So, talking to these guys, great conversation with Lowell City Council candidate John Descoteaux. Obviously, he's great. He's honest. He's candid, and this has been a fantastic conversation. But like I said, I am not the political show on this particular platform, but John's a dear friend, so I'm going to give my opinion because I'm entitled to it on this show. Vote for this man come November because trust me when I tell you, he is a leader already in this city, and he's only doing this out of the goodness of his heart because he cares about Lowell. So that's my commercial for John Descoteaux. It's a while away. He declared early. There'll be other candidates popping up, and there'll be all kinds of arguments and debates. You'll see him again. However, I'm just saying this is a guy that gives a lot about Lowell. And what district do you run in, John, particularly?
District 8 in the Upper Highlands.
District 8, Upper Highlands. So
it's kind of a weird how the district, they say, well, I can vote. I've had people sign my paper, my nomination papers, and they said, oh, I can vote for you. I said, where do you live? Well, I'm at 3-something Stevens Street. I go, no, you're not my zone. They go, what do you mean? I live right next to St. Lowell Catholic.
Yeah.
I said, so, because it's weird. You go from the 99, Frank, up Stevens.
Sure.
And you go right to the lights at Parker, and it stops.
Really?
That's where the district stops.
Take a left onto Parker. Take a right onto Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Keep on going. Westford, take a right. Take a left at Freddie Bahu's old shop over there.
Where's the shop?
Right? And then take a right, then go back onto Stevens, then at Princeton Boulevard, and that's where it becomes.
Are you kidding me?
And everything to the left.
It's like Rand McNally.
It really it is. And I'm going, wow. Every time I look at it, I go, all right, I got to. And then when you go on Hawthorne from Parker, it's only the left side of Hawthorne, not the right-hand side of the street.
Wow. Only in Lowell.
But you know what? It's a great district. I started walking Lincoln Parkway, Rindo Park, and Sanders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the money from Monday night and buy a scooter because it took me 3 hours, Frankie. 3 hours to do this. And here I'm saying, oh, I'm going to go right through this. I go, yeah. But you know what? Once you get people engaged and they ask you pointed questions, you got to stay there and talk and give them the right answer.
Of course, you can't just dip.
And you know what? A lot of people are like, oh, that's good, but tell me about yourself. So a lot of people, as many people as I do know in the Upper Highlands, you know what? There's a lot of people you don't know.
There's thousands.
And those are the people that vote, Yeah. And obviously you love to see the 18 to 35-year-olds vote, but right now, and we got to get back to that because we're not seeing them vote.
Well,
I'll be the host. What do you think about that?
The dilemma, and I try to impart that on my own children, who 2 out of my 3 are of a voting age. Like, I don't view it as a right as much as an obligation. Go
Correct.
Vote. Go vote. You should do this. Like, otherwise, you don't deserve a place in your opinion.
Yeah, if you're not going to vote, you can't.
If you can't vote,
complain.
Then shut up.
I want to hear about
it. Listen, don't. You guys don't take my. I'm not.
No,
I'm not pointing at you, but that's
it is what it is. You can tell. I mean, from where I sit,
I don't care which party you vote.
I'll tell you from where I sit.
Okay.
People have gone through an awful lot to have the right to give their opinion.
Very good. Very
so
right.
Well said, Gary.
So then I will tell you.
Well said.
My peeps get out there and vote, and if you're in my boy's district, you can vote for my boy.
Yeah.
Bring it in. Bring it in for Johnny D.
If you can. I love it. At least he's not a cheerleader, folks. I swear to God, he wasn't a plant. No, but I
don't know how we instill that into our youth. I mean, is it a civic class in high school saying, listen, this is what we're doing? But you know what? I think social media has hurt that.
True.
Social media's hurt everything.
You know what I mean? They look at all this stuff on social media and go, why do I want to vote? And that's not obviously the way we were brought up.
No.
But the people that vote are the ones that are 40 and older.
I know.
And you know what? And it's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that the percentage of voters in the city of Lowell, when you have 18% of the total population of registered voters.
That's scary. Is that what it is?
You know what I mean? You know, and I'm going, wait a
You
minute.
tell everybody, it's like, do you realize you're letting these small amount of people regulate everything that's
Right.
control everything? You know what I mean?
I hate the attitude of, my vote doesn't count. And a lot of people feel that way.
That's a Massachusetts
One vote. It is a Massachusetts thing. Well,
you're right.
I can't vote
It is.
Republican because what does it matter?
Yeah,
And there's some validity to that. I guess.
Of course, man. I've been registered independent my whole life.
I have
Because I want to
too.
vote. I want to vote for the guy I want to vote for. I'm not going to be beholden to a party.
I switch parties all the time based on what I like, what I believe.
That's what it
agree.
is.
Candidate. Anyway,
And you know what? You like a little bit of both. And you dislike a little bit of both.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
I hate
so we
the
actually
sound
have we're 3 independent voters here, right? Are we? Are you
But
independent?
I'm independent.
I am,
independent.
I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
but I also feel like I go right down the middle per
Sure.
election, right?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, no, this guy's a bum.
Yeah.
That guy's a Democrat. He's a bum.
Hardline party politics is actually kind of stupid in this day and age.
I agree. I agree.
it's-
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't.
Job.
You know that your guy is wrong, but you're still up
that's
there.
nonsense.
You're still pushing him. You're still
Yeah.
you're still pushing him. You're still pushing him. Because he's in your party. You
like
can't.
socialism.
You have to be able to stand out and say, listen.
You may laugh, but you're right.
I know. I'm not
You're
laughing.
right.
It's
No, that
amazing,
is it.
but
Exactly.
There are
Exactly.
people still out there that
Yeah.
say, "Well, I'm a Democrat, so."
So
no
yeah,
matter what,
well, I got to vote for this guy. He's in my party.
No, it's exactly true. But
So-
it would be nice to see some of the younger voters come out and
correct.
and run and run as well.
Go run.
You know what?
run.
Go
Yeah,
run. Make a
absolutely.
difference. You know, you don't need an old guy like me to come out and you know what?
Wow.
Let's get some young
Lessons can
blood.
be learned from little guys, right?
Well,
Gary?
That's it, man.
You do have experience in life, and that does.
So my intention was to do a sidebar of sports. However, we've had a beautiful dialogue, so I think I'm going to forego it tonight.
I just want to make sure that Matthew Judon doesn't let
All right, tell you
DeAndre Hopkins out of the door at Foxborough.
what. Here we go.
If you can get Hopkins, you've just added another 2 or 3 wings.
So
Don't you think, Gary?
I think.
Hold on, you just get one opinion on sports.
My
So
opinion.
Pick it wisely.
What are you talking about?
You get 2 minutes on your sports, and then I'm going to play our little game.
You gonna try to stifle
close
me?
out.
You gonna try to stifle me? Okay.
Gary, you don't think I can tackle you? Because I couldn't. I'll try.
Listen to this fool, will you? Anyway, so the Judon thing was when it came out today. Judon put a post up of him and D Hop in an embrace, and it was like he said, "Brothers."
Oh, we did. I didn't see that.
And D Hop was smiling, the smile of a dude who just got a $15 million check. So I'm hoping that they don't let this guy out of Fox without signing him.
It's a one.
Because
Excuse me.
That changes your whole dynamic of the team.
Get a cough button? No. We got the cheap equipment.
There's Gary.
But doesn't that change your whole dynamic of the
It,
team, Gary?
it just gives that's the instant number one guy. No matter who is in your wide receiving core, D Hop is your instant number one guy. Is it the D Hop of old? No, of course not. But he's still that dude. He's still going to demand a double team. He's going to slide the opposing team's defenses. I'm going to tell you something right now. And if you cut me open during football season, I'm going to bleed red, white, and blue. I'm a Patriot fan up and down the line. This team could come out 0-4. They could.
They could.
They could come out 0-4. Those victories you had against the Jets, like all the time, all
Look
the
at the topics on. Can I be Frank?
the
Huh?
time.
Frank, we got this
All
stuff.
the time.
I knew it was going to go. So
All the time.
I just specifically.
You beat the Jets.
I
All the time.
specifically.
He told me
just
2
said,
minutes. He told me 2
"Let's
minutes.
not- I don't want to go to.
I still got 45 seconds. You used to beat the Jets all the time. Now the Jets have that dude.
Here comes the Mountain of Sound.
They have Aaron Rodgers. The Jets quarterback is Aaron MF Rodgers.
I know.
There's no way you're going to beat them on like a punt return like you did last year. So, I mean, you might go 0-2 against the Jets. I don't even know if I can watch football this year.
All right.
This is going to
Gary,
be
Gary, take a deep breath.
this is going to be brutal.
John, you have 2 minutes for your sports
gonna be
opinions of
brutal,
Boston. Go. 4 sports, go.
Obviously, I'm a big hockey fan.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
owned a deck hockey facility
right.
back in Chelmsford.
You stole the Bruins logo for your campaign.
Almost
Gary,
did.
it's only
Almost
a
did.
time.
I almost did. I
You had
almost
your
did.
2 minutes, Gary.
I
Now
almost
quiet
did.
down.
The reason, listen, the Bruins were a very, very good team this year. No doubt about it. The points showed it. But when the playoffs come, the whole dynamic changes. Clutching, grabbing, refs let a little bit of this go. and it gets really tough in front of that net.
You're not going to give him a pass, are you?
No, I'm not.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, when you looked at the Las Vegas Knights defensemen, and the reason why they beat Florida, and Florida was, I mean, they were a really gritty, scrappy team who went to the net.
Yep.
But guess how many times they went to the net against the Knights? Every one of those defensemen are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 220, and guess what? Their goaltender saw shots. It's a different ball. It's a different hockey when you're in the playoffs. You can't have a Matt Grzelcyk at 5'8" and 170 pounds pushing a Matt Tkachuk around, because we saw what happened with Florida. They would just
beat us up.
They beat us up. Beat us up on the boards. Listen, the Bruins haven't been tough since they won the Stanley Cup.
Exactly.
Really. Sean Thornton, Greg Campbell, all those guys.
I'll tell you what the biggest problem with the Bruins is Bruce Cassidy, clearly.
Well, no doubt about it.
Come on.
The only thing I had a problem with Montgomery was he didn't stick to his goaltending where he did it. Because Ullmark never played 5 games in 2 weeks the whole season. He never did.
I know.
Now, I could see him playing 2 at home, right?
Yep.
Even if they won 2.
Yeah.
You give it to Swayman in the 3rd game. You got to give Ullmark was used to that rest. He was a broken down goalie by the end.
The formula just didn't work, though, unfortunately.
It didn't.
And I believed it.
Yeah.
I actually did. I said, this 2 goalie thing, I think actually worked. But all right.
Anybody's always told you, if you have 2 goalies, you have none. I mean, I'm not making that up.
No.
Jesus.
If you have 2 goalies.
But I will tell you, it will not surprise me to
These are facts.
see the Bruins trade Ullmark.
Somebody's got to go.
I think Ullmark, and I think Taylor Hall will be gone too. Because you know what? That's $11 million in cap money right there.
See? This guy knows sports.
Millions.
Yeah.
So,
that's it.
in addition to being
I stay in my lane, bro.
your next
I stay in my lane.
city councilor and your next intelligent sportscaster over here, they're pretty smart guys.
Yep.
So
I'm going to be in Frank's seat next time I'll pick you what?
we are at minute 40, and I like to keep our listeners and our viewers to 45 minutes. So it's been a really great episode, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Johnny,
Really
I wish you the
appreciate
very
it.
best.
I appreciate it.
However, we have one more little
Yeah,
segment.
come on. I'm waiting.
One
Bring it.
more little segment.
You promised a little
Come
surprise.
on, McCabe. What you got?
And I promise.
Can I be Frank? Can I be Frank? Can I be Frank with you, baby?
Gary does not know the emotion of silence.
Yep.
However, I do love him. So we're going to go 10 questions. And
10.
a bonus question.
All right, come on.
And I'm calling this speed round.
All right.
So you have to answer these questions as fast as you can.
As fast as possible.
Off the top of your head, there's no thinking.
I can't use my phone.
I'm gonna. No, they're not.
There ain't
don't
no
worry.
Googling it.
Don't worry, Gary. It's not Arlington High School. Man.
I don't know. I went to private school in Medford.
2 + 3 is 5.
Live.
This guy tried to Arlington High. I went to the new preparatory school in Cambridge, a private school. Thank you.
pardon.
Thank you.
This
Very
is not
good.
your
Thank
commercial.
you. We had
Who are you
napkins.
talking to over there?
I'm talking to my people.
Okay. Well,
We had
people
napkins.
don't give a-
We had
All right, Frank. Good
Okay, John. Thank you. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back and forth.
All right.
back and forth.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
start with John.
right.
You get the next question.
You gonna move the cameras too?
What I need is, yeah. All right, here we go, you wise ass prick. So, John goes first. Now, listen, you have to quiet when John answers. But here's the deal: fast as you can go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Ready? I wish I had the TikTok.
Which one? You want to?
All right, John. First question. We'll start easy and get a little tougher.
All right.
What zip code are you in right now?
01851.
What city are you in right now?
Lowell, Mass.
John, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Gary, what's John's favorite color?
Blue.
John, if you were a tree, what time is it?
4.
You're wrong. Gary, you are a tree. What day is it?
Thursday.
John, who's the most hated person in Lowell?
Gary.
Gary, who's the most hated person in this room?
Boner. Oh, Frank's nickname is Boner. Sorry.
John, were you pro collie or pro downtown?
Pro Collie.
Gary, you pro life?
No.
Pro choice?
Correct.
John, would you rather wrestle a polar bear or Gary?
I'll go with the polar bear.
Gary, would you rather eat a polar bear or eat Johnny?
Oh, the polar bear. Johnny's about 104 pounds.
John, meat or fish?
Meat.
Gary, caribou or dinosaur?
Caribou. Dinosaurs don't exist.
John, would you rather have Gary's head with your body or your head on Gary's body?
Well, my head on Gary's body.
Same question, Gary.
Oh, wow. I'm keeping my body. I'm 6'4". This dude's 5 foot nothing.
With John's head.
I'll deal with the head. Got decent hair.
John, favorite place to eat in Lowell? You can pass.
Why would you pass?
Favorite place to eat in Lowell?
Tick, tick, tick.
Cobblestones.
Tick, tick.
Cobblestones.
You have 5 seconds, John.
I don't. Athenian Corner.
Good answer.
Ooh, good answer.
Gary, what's your favorite place to drink in Lowell?
Anywhere they have serving cold Heineken, the champagne of all Negroes.
Okay. John, true or false, Gary could dunk a basketball in his younger days?
Yes.
Gary could dunk a basketball right now.
Gary, true or false, John could once touch the net?
I'm saying no.
He's correct.
Okay. Well done. There's no winners here.
Nice visual, Frank. Way to end it like that. Exactly.
Here's your
Come on.
Here's the final bonus question.
Bonus.
We close out this day. John, yes or no? Will you be elected to be the next Lowell City Council member?
Yes.
Gary, will you vote for John?
All day and twice on Sunday. No question.
It's been fun, boys.
Gentlemen,
It's been fun.
thank you
Yeah.
very much. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this. This was an interesting one.
Mo, Larry, Curly.
Mo,
Hey, listen, happy Father's Day. We're all Fathers
Oh,
Day.
that's right. Yeah.
happy Father's,
Father's Day.
Happy Juneteenth,
That's it.
whatever you celebrate. It's
Yeah,
it's a nice
Juneteenth is
weekend.
coming. Yeah.
I appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Thank you, Frank.
A fun show. It'll be posted tomorrow on June 16th, so pay attention. It'll be up there. And again, happy to have these gentlemen here. Have a good night, all. And I got to cut this off real fast. Good night, folks.